going to adjust that light. My lights always give me trouble because my light setup is different for when I'm live versus when I'm filming a regular video. It always seems to reflect differently, oh goodness gracious, when I'm live. Let's try to get this right so that we don't have any glaring. Let's go there. I think that looks better than it did. So hello to everybody. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate. Happy New Year. For those of you in the United States, we're getting ready, well, and everywhere, I guess, really. We're getting ready to head into a brand new year. So that's good. I am ready to leave this year behind and start fresh. I'm going to just give it just a minute for everybody to get in here. Excuse my voice. It's the end of December. Like I said, we're getting ready to come into January. And I live in Pennsylvania where it should be cold. And yet we haven't had any snow. It hasn't really been super cold. It's been fluctuating. One day it'll be like 35 and the next day it's like 50. So with all the changing weather, it's just hard on my sinuses and whatnot. So if I sound a little groggy, I'm not really groggy, just a little froggy, I guess you could say. This is my first Valentine's Day card that I have made for this season. And my computer is kind of giving me a little bit of trouble. It doesn't want to pull up the live. So I'm hoping that I truly am live. Oh, there it is. There we go. I just had to refresh once again. Okay, we look good. It's pulling up the chat as it always does. Fabulous. So if you guys have questions as I'm going along, if you have comments, concerns, whatever, let me know because I can see your comments and everything. Anyway, back to the card. This is my first Valentine's Day card that I made this year. I'm going to tilt this and hopefully you can see all the goodness that's going on in this card. So I have just some simple ink blending that I did along with some Glitz glitter gel. And then here's this little portion here with some Laura Kelly toner sheets and foil. And then I have a bit more ink blending, just some simple coloring. And I used this one. It's probably my favorite Laura Kelly stamp set. It's Me and My Peeps. And I love it because you can customize this for so many different things. If you joined me here a couple weeks ago, I made a card, a Christmas scene card, where it was me, my husband, and my son outside of a little house, kind of depicting our family. Love that you can use this stamp set to change around and make your own family. No matter who's in your household, you can kind of create your own family with this. There's even puppies and kitties, even a little frog and a turtle if you have those little critters in your home. All right, so it looks like we are up and running, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So let me pull up my chair here and we will jump right in. Now, usually I start my cards when I'm here on my live with my foiling. But today I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm actually going to start with my background. When I'm creating a card, I like to start with what I call wet mediums. So if you have texture paste or Glitz glitter gel, transfer gels, that's what I like to start with just to give that time to dry. And I see a couple more people kind of joining in here. As you're watching me, when we're all done, I will leave links to the products I used on this card, as well as a link. ThermOWeb has a new winter sale page. So there are a bunch of items on there. I browsed through it this morning. Some of the items are up to 50% off. You'll definitely want to check that out. It's on if you go to ThermOWeb.com, up on the very main page, there's a banner. If you click on that banner, it'll take you right over to all the sale items, and there's a bunch of them. These specific products are not there, but there's other toner sheets that were there that are pretty cool, and I love toner sheets. Let's get going. I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock out of my drawer. And I'm going to start with my backgrounds. So this background is actually using some layered stencils. And these ones happen to be from Lawn Fawn. But you can use whatever you have in your stash. I just wanted to find a way to create a full heart background using some Glitz glitter gel. I'm going to start with, let's start with this one. And I'm going to spray the back of this with some pixie spray. Pixie spray holds my stencil down. My son, it's that weird week in between Christmas and New Year's where all time gets lost in another dimension. So my son is home. He's 6 years old. He's off in the corner and he said, "What's pixie spray?" So here's pixie spray. It's a temporary adhesive and I'm just going to quickly spray the back of my stencil. In fact, I'll do both of them while I have my box out. You don't need a lot of pixie spray. A lot of times I see people say that they have some leftover residue from pixie spray on their cards, and I would venture to guess that that is probably because you've used just a bit too much. You really don't need a lot. I just do a quick little spray over, and that's all I need. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this. I mean, the great thing about this stencil is that these hearts are all cattywampus, so you don't even have to worry about getting them perfectly straight. I'm going to grab my ink blending brush and some distress ink. The type of ink truly does not matter. I just wanted to add some pink hearts in the background here. Pink is one of my favorite colors, and surprisingly, I don't make a ton of Valentine's Day cards, but this year, for some reason, I'm really feeling the kind of heart and love theme, so I might be making a bunch of them this year. I'm just going to quickly add some ink over here. I love that that pixie spray is holding my stencil on tight, so I don't have to worry about that shifting on me because I have a very heavy hand when I ink blend. I'm just going to make sure that all of those little hearts are covered. Buddy, I can't help you right now, but I can help you when I'm done, okay? I can't help you now, Pooh Bear. Come here. Come here. I'm going to give this stencil just a quick little wipe off just because I have some ink on there. And then I'm going to switch it out for the second layer stencil. Now this one is just going to kind of, there's no guidelines on here, but it's really easy to just kind of line up. I just make sure that there's no hearts overlapping. I'm going to give that a press because this is going to be my Glitz glitter gel background. I have some red velvet Glitz glitter gel, and you can see that I'm running out. This was one of my go-tos for Christmas this year was the red and the gold. So I'm going to need to order a new jar, which is the most satisfying thing, I think, when you get to open a new jar of something. I just opened a new jar of Transfer Gel Blanco, and it was just such a nice feeling. Okay, buddy, I can't help you right now. I don't know how to play that video game, bud. Something just happened on my camera, so I am hoping that it just kind of started over. Oh my goodness. I think we're still good though. We're good to go. I'm going to take my stencil pal now and just swipe right over the top. And I love how easy it is to spread Glitz glitter gel over a stencil with my stencil pal because it's wider than my card. I am so sorry that you can hear him in the other room. He's trying to play a video game and apparently it's not working out the way he wants to, so it's mental breakdown time for him. And I don't play video games, so I can't help. I'm just going to scrape that off. And let's see, I like to use my stencil pal and just really scrape that off the top because I like to conserve as much of this product as I can. I'll put that right in the jar. and then peel this off. A question that I get asked a lot on lives is, how long does Glitz glitter gel take to dry? And the answer is, it varies depending on how much Glitz glitter gel you're using on your background. Here you can see I didn't use a lot, and because I used that stencil pal and I could easily get an even application, this is not going to take long to dry. In fact, by the time I'm done foiling my panel and putting together the rest of my card, this is going to be good to go. So right now it's not very humid, which helps things dry faster. So I would say for this, probably like 20 minutes maybe. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to use my stencil pal, which I just set on my card, and I'm going to clean up the rest of my work surface here. So I have some at the bottom, and I'm just going to use that stencil pal to scrape off any of the excess Glitz glitter gel and put that back into the container. Here's a tip to prevent your Glitz glitter gel from drying out. I like to take a baby wipe, or if you have like a wet cloth or something, and just wipe off the rim, and then put your lid on tightly. And wiping off that rim is going to make it so that you don't have Glitz glitter gel on the top, kind of preventing a tight seal. I'm going to clean off my tools here. You always want to make sure that you clean your tools quickly after you've used any kind of wet substance, a Glitz glitter gel, a transfer gel, something like that, just so that it doesn't dry on there. The Glitz glitter gel I have let fully dry, and I have been able to get my products cleaned, but it's much, much easier. It's already kind of starting to dry on here. Much, much easier to clean it off when it's still wet. I'm going to make sure that I get that bottom. And now here's my little trick. I'm going to clear that away. I have a trick for cleaning off your stencils. If you have something that's stubborn to clean off your stencils, Glitz glitter gel is usually pretty easy to clean. But I find that the Transfer Gel Duo, because that's sticky, the formula that allows it to use it as a transfer gel in your die cutting machine kind of has a stickier nature. So here's a trick. If you have a sticky substance on a stencil, I just have some Windex in a gallon bag. I put my stencil in, and then I like to make sure my stencil's in the middle of the bag so that I'm not going to catch the bag on any of the corners. And I'm just going to clean off my stencil. I learned this trick from a friend, and I have been sharing it with you guys a couple times now. And it always seems to be a hit. I'm going to grab this is just my work towel that I use to wipe off my stamps or anything. And just give that a quick wipe down, and then my stencil will be dry and good to go for the next project. Done. And then I can wipe off my work surface too. So there we go. Glitz glitter gel all cleaned off. It even it didn't even stick to the pixie spray, which is really, really awesome. I'm going to put those stencils away so that they don't get lost in the shuffle. And we're going to do some foiling next. I went back and forth on which pattern to use because I knew I wanted to die cut a heart. And there are so many awesome toner sheets in the Laura Kelly line. But I eventually settled on this Spotty Dots pattern. And I went with Flamingo Pink because I did a light pink ink in the background and then that red velvet glitz. And so I thought that this Flamingo Pink foil would be really pretty. So I'm going to do some foiling. So I have, let me gather all of my supplies that I use for foiling. I have my toner sheet, my foil, and then I also have a piece of deco foil parchment paper. Now this comes in a larger piece, 8.5 by 11-ish. And I like to cut mine down to size. So this one happens to be, I think it's right about, like 6.5 by 6.5. I primarily make A2 size cards. So this size is perfect for that. I'm going to take, this is a clean cloth. I know it doesn't look clean because it's been used many times before, but I promise you it's clean. And here's a tip for when you're doing foiling on toner sheets. I like to just wipe this down because I have dust in my hair, I have kitties, I have oils in my fingers like we all do. And so I just want to wipe off any residue that may be on the top of that toner sheet that's going to interfere with me getting a perfect foil. I'm going to grab a piece of this Flamingo Pink foil. And what I love about the Laura Kelly line is that the foils are size 6 by 6 and the toner sheets are right about 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I can easily lay this right on top and have just a little bit of a border around the outside edge. Now when you're foiling, you want to make sure that the back side, the reverse side of your foil is touching your medium, which is your toner, so your pretty side should be up. I'm going to place that into my Deco Foil parchment paper carrier sheet and just smooth that out. Make sure that there's no crinkles in there. And then I'm going to run this through my laminator. I have the Royal Sovereign, but I've used a few different laminators and they all work a little bit differently. So you just kind of have to play around with your laminator and find what it likes the best. Mine likes to foil on the right side, not through the middle, which is my immediate thought, is to put things right down the middle. But you know, there's rollers and such inside of your machines. And so just like your die cutting machine, my die cutting machine likes to cut in the center, but not on the edges. My laminator likes to foil on the edges, but not in the middle. So just kind of know your laminator, and then I'm going to run that through once. And then my personal preference, I'll show you in a second here. So this is how I ran it through the first time with the foil up. I like to just flip my whole sandwich over and run that through again. I don't know if it helps, but just in case maybe a little piece of the foil didn't transfer the first time, before I peel it back, I'm going to try it again. So that's running through. Let me grab the products I need for the next part because I'm going to do some ink blending. So I'm going to grab another color of Distress Oxide. This is Abandoned Coral. I'm going to grab my blending brush and I'm going to do some die cutting too. So I looked through my stash, and like I said, I don't make a lot of Valentine's Day cards, but I was happy I had these stitched hearts from LDRS Creative, and this large stitched heart was just perfect to fit on the size of my card. So this came through. I'm going to grab that. I like to just give it a minute to cool because it does come out of your laminator nice and hot. Then I'm going to grab one of the edges and just peel it back slowly. And oh, it's perfect. I hope you can see all of that foiling perfection. It's hard to capture on camera, but there we go. There's a little bit. I love it. Now, don't forget, I don't ever throw these away because this is a near perfect foil. I think I have like one little blemish here that didn't transfer perfectly. But this makes for another great background. And there's a couple ways that you can use this. You can use the Deco Foil toner sheets. It's just a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock printed with black toner. So I could get this and have little black polka dots. Or what I like to do is use Easy Cut adhesive or any kind of double-sided adhesive sheets that ThermOWeb sells and just kind of stick this onto a card, and then you would have it with a white background. So I love the negative pieces. Always keep them. Here's my little piece, and I'm going to die cut this, and I just kind of like to look through and find a portion of the pattern that's going to look good when I die cut this. Then I'm going to grab some purple tape and just temporarily adhere that. I think that'll be good. Remember that I could have die cut this piece before I foiled, so if you wanted to just die cut the heart, if you didn't want to foil the whole panel, you definitely could. Same thing with the ink blending that I'm going to do. You can ink blend before or after you die cut. I'm going to go ahead and just run this through my die cutting machine. The toner sheets die cut just like regular cardstock, because that's all it is. It's regular cardstock printed with toner. Get this die cutting machine out of the way. And then pop this out. And look at that. Isn't that so cute? Just a little heart. Now, when I was creating this card the first time, I didn't plan on doing any ink blending onto here. But let me grab that background panel that I set aside to dry. When I started designing this and I put this heart on here, I thought that it kind of just didn't pop enough. The colors were blending. So I'm going to do a little bit of inking, and that's going to help this stand out. I could ink blend the whole panel if I wanted to, but I decided to just kind of do a fade out effect. So I'm using Abandoned Coral, and I'm just going to go dark at the bottom and blend and fade that out towards the top. And I'm going to do a couple layers of ink here just to really kind of bring in this corally red color. And I love that there are so many different pinks, reds, and Valentine's Day-ish colors on this card. I'm going to darken up, I think, just one more time. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to grab my cloth and just wipe this off. The foil is going to act as a resist medium. So I don't know if you can see on camera or not, but see how up here the foil looks super shiny and down here it's kind of dulled a little bit? That's just because there's a bit of ink sitting on top. But as soon as you wipe that off, the shine comes right back, and you don't have to worry the foil's not going to wipe off when you're buffing. But there we go. The shine is back. I know it's hard to, there we go. It's hard to see on camera, but trust me, the shine is back. Just buff that ink off a little bit. Off camera, before I came live today, I grabbed that Laura Kelly Me and My Peeps stamp set, and I colored up these cute little images. So this one is the one that my son has picked to represent my husband. This one is the one that he's picked to represent me. And then usually if I'm making a card with him in it, I go either this one or this one, depending on his mood. But these are just the cutest little characters ever. I think they're super adorable. So I stamped them, I colored them, I cut them out, and I also stamped and cut out the You and Me sentiment. I thought about doing I love you, but I really liked this bigger sentiment, and I love this font. I'm not sure if this is her handwriting, but I think this is just so super cute. So those are the images that I'm going to use today. And I have, you guys are going to be shocked, the only adhesive I'm using is this iCraft 3D foam tape jumbo roll. I know usually I mix up my adhesives, but everything's going to be popped up today because that was just the mood that I was in. Now there are 4 different jumbo foam tape rolls. There's 2 white and 2 black, and then there's the 1/16 of an inch thickness and 1/8 of an inch thickness. I just love this foam tape. I've been using it a lot, and you can see I still have a lot on the roll. I'm going to go ahead and add some to the back of my heart. I like the 1/16 of an inch thickness for most of my regular cards. I use the 1/8 of an inch a lot when I'm doing interactive cards or shaker cards because it's double the thickness, so it helps things really stand up. But because I'm going to be doing a lot of layering on here, I thought I'd go with the 1/16 of an inch thickness. So here's our background that we did with the ink and the Glitz glitter gel, and you can see I'm pushing my nail up against the Glitz, rubbing it over it, and it's pretty dry. It's only been maybe 15 minutes since I made this background, so it's good to go. I already used the same jumbo foam tape roll, and I cut down little pieces. and stuck them on the back of my people. But because I was doing little pieces to kind of fit behind their legs and under his arms and everything, I did that off camera, so you wouldn't have to watch me cut foam tape. And I'm just going to put this card together. It came together really quickly, especially for having ink blending, Glitz glitter gel, toner sheets with foil. It's a really quick card, and I love that with that Me and My Peeps stamp set, you can customize your couple on the heart. I'm going to put this near the top center. Just kind of try to center that up a little bit. It's not quite perfect. I got to scooch it a little. Maybe I'll try laying it down. Excuse my head. I try so hard not to get my head in the camera, but I couldn't get it quite centered. There we go. And then this is what took me the longest when I was making the card the first time, was trying to figure out how I want my little humans on here. And eventually I figured out something along the lines of this. So I'm going to add my sentiment first, because that's what's going to make it the easiest, I think. And I did use that same jumbo foam tape adhesive on my sentiment. Just going to kind of center that up. Let's see, does that look centered? That's pretty good. And then I'm going to tuck my little people underneath. And I've added a bit too much foam tape, so I'm going to just kind of roll that to the side under there. That'll look good, I think. I love this tape too because the backing comes off so easily. It doesn't with a lot of foam tapes, and this is perfect. So easy. I'm going to add my little guy in here. I think he needs to go just a little bit to the side. And then my me. She represents me, even though if you know me, you know I don't have any hair. It's buzzed just as short as my husband's and my son's. And it sure has cut down on the cost of shampoo. There we go. That's it. All finished. Let's hold this up so you can see that Glitz glitter gel in the background. And I love the pink flamingo foil. Is my favorite Laura Kelly color of foil, I think. And I love that Spotty Dots toner sheet. So that's it. I have 2 cards now ready for Valentine's Day. I have such a jump start on that. And I think that this is just so cute. And I love that you can take that Me and My Peeps stamp set and totally customize your cards. I have made, personally, birthday card, a Christmas card, now Valentine's Day card. I know that there's lots of other people on the ThermOWeb team who have used the Me and My Peeps stamp set for a lot of different occasions too. So it's definitely one you need to pick up. And while you are shopping for the products I used today, don't forget that there's that new winter sale page on the ThermOWeb website. As soon as you go to the website, there is a banner that says winter sale. You're going to click on it. There's lots and lots of items there, up to 50% off. And I will leave a link to that as well as to the rest of the products that I used in today's live in the video description as soon as I sign off and update that description box for you guys. I think that's it. Unless you guys have any other questions, I am going to be back here. It's soon. Let me check. Next week is the plan. I will be live right here on the ThermOWeb YouTube channel for even more kind of wintry goodness. So that's all that I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you next week. Bye.